The ability to make and develop relationships with many different sorts of people, both from our country and internationally.
I think basically you've just got to be patient, willing to listen to students, and know how to advise them appropriately, and that basically means having a good overall knowledge of the policies and process of your school and the university.
To be approachable and flexible and not respond too drastically when you hear some things that are really difficult.
Mae hefyd angen stoc o bethau arnoch chi fel tiwtor personol. Weithiau mae'n ddefnyddiol cael llyfrau sgiliau astudio wrth law, achos weithiau fydd falle angen cyngor cyffredinol ar strwythuro traethawd neu datblygu paragraffau, datblygu dadl. A weithiau mae'n ddefnyddiol, os oes gyda chi stoc o bethau wrth law, llyfrau neu erthygled, chi'n gallu cyfeirio nhw atyn nhw, yna mae hwnna'n ddefnyddiol iawn i fyfyriwr gallu gweld enghraifft neu gallu gweld rhywbeth am y modd i nhw ddarllen ymhellach i gael cyngor.
Students can come in and they can talk to you about their work, and again it's a case of looking through what advice have they been told by their module tutors and try to address that in a generic sense. If it's anything to do with a particular module where they're having difficulty, then the advice is go and talk to the module leader to see what they can do to address any problems that they've got.
The role that you offer them is really very much of a coaching or a mentorship role. And we talk lots about feedback, but lots of the important things that you're able to do as a personal tutor is to feed forward. So if they've done well in assignments, it's about taking what's good and moving it forward. And what they've done less well, building on that and encouraging them to progress. Giving them the opportunity to look at good exemplars of assignments and to link them into the online resources that help them to structure their academic writing, understand principles of reflection or academic referencing.
If a student is struggling and doesn't quite understand why they're getting the marks they're getting, it is a case sometimes of saying, okay, let's have a second pair of eyes to look over what you've done and try to benchmark that against the assessment criteria to see why the person who's marked your work has marked it in the way that they have. So it's a case of trying to get them to understand what the assessment criteria are there for and how they can use them to actually benchmark their own work. So it is a case of sometimes just sitting down and going through a piece of work with them, or getting several pieces of work and saying what are the commonalities in the feedback that you've been getting, and how do you address any common weaknesses that are appearing across the range of work that you've been doing.
I think it's really important at the outset to explain to students that there is no such thing as a stupid question, that anything that they ask is, if it's concerning them or if it's impacting on their performance, then it's absolutely right and fine to ask, and it's safe to ask it. They won't be judged.
Mae'n gallu amrywio. Dwi wastad yn teimlo mod i'n gwybod beth ddaw drwy'r drws neu dros e-bost, ond mae pob cwestiwn yn wahanol oherwydd bod anghenion pob myfyriwr yn wahanol, a dyna sy'n bwysig fel tiwtor personol yw bod yn barod i ymateb i unrhyw beth, neu bod ateb gyda chi allai rhoi cyngor neu gymorth i fyfyriwr.
Really, if you dig down, lots of those are related to relationship difficulties. Often there are bereavement or health and well-being issues. Many of our students struggle with mental health issues and the stress of managing work-life balance.
Yn aml iawn hefyd, mae'r cwestiynau, mae rôl cynnig cyngor academaidd i ni, yn aml iawn mae myfyrwyr yn dod ato ni fel tiwtoriaid gyda phroblemau personol, a mae'n rhaid bod chi'n hyderus wrth ateb myfyriwr a dweud bod angen iddyn nhw fynd at wasanaethau eraill yn y brifysgol mwyn cael y cyngor arbenigol a'r cymorth arbenigol sydd angen arnyn nhw. Wrth gwrs, di chi yno fel pwynt cyswllt cyntaf, ond mae'n rhaid i chi fod yn barod i'w harwain nhw i'r lle cywir.
I think this is where the Sherlock Holmes idea comes in, is really trying to explore why they're struggling. Is it that they're struggling because it is an academic challenge which they're ill-prepared for, or they really don't have the skills to undertake, or are there personal factors impacting on their performance?
Yn aml iawn, falle mae'r myfyrwyr sy'n cael trafferth gyda'r gwaith yn aml yn cyrraedd tiwtoriad falle ar ôl derbyn marc neu ar ôl cael adborth, a dyn nhw falle ddim yn siŵr sut i ddatblygu a sut i gael marciau gwell y tro nesaf. Felly yn aml byddwn ni yn cynnig sgwrs, cynnig cyfarfod gyda'r myfyriwr ac yn gofyn i'r myfyriwr ddod ag unrhyw adborth neu unrhyw syniadau os ydyn nhw'n cael trafferth gyda taclo darn y waith, dod ar ryw syniadau gyda nhw, fel bod rhywbeth gyda chi i'w drafod. Hynny, mae'n bwysig bod y myfyriwr yn teimlo'n rhan o'r sgwrs hefyd, nid bod chi'n dweud yn union beth sydd angen i'w wneud. Mae'n rhaid bod nhw'n rhan o'r broses.
You've got to understand that students very often, they come to see you when they're in a position of difficulty. Unfortunately, very often students leave it until difficulties are apparent and are becoming serious. So you've got to understand that you're dealing with students often who are quite stressed, whether it be because their academic performance is not as good as they would want it to be, or whether it's because there are other factors outside of their academic life that is impinging upon their ability to study. So I think you've got to just be patient, be willing to listen to the student and to take time to listen to them, and then also not to think you're going to resolve every problem for them. Most of their problems, particularly if they're not academic, you can't and shouldn't be trying to resolve. And so it is a case of being ready to say, that's where my role ends and that's where I need to refer you on to somebody else who has the specialist knowledge, the counselling skills, etc., to deal with whatever problems you've got.
Yn sicr, mae'n un o'r elfennau gorau o'n swyddi mewn ffordd, achos ydych chi'n cael grŵp o fyfyrwyr a ydych chi'n dod i'w hadnabod nhw. Mae gan bob ysgol raglenni neu sesiynau tiwtora personol gwahanol. Gyda ni yn Ysgol y Gymraeg, dyn ni'n cwrdd â nhw'n aml iawn yn y flwyddyn gyntaf, felly dyn ni'n dod i nabod nhw'n dda iawn. A ydych chi'n dod i nabod cymeriadau, ydych chi'n wedyn yn gallu tracio eu cynnydd nhw a'i datblygiad nhw yn ystod y flwyddyn.
You get to know students who you otherwise wouldn't get to know. And sometimes sometimes they're quite inspirational. Sometimes these students come from very difficult backgrounds. I've dealt with some that have come from, who have managed to carry on studying under appalling conditions, and they can be quite inspiring. And I think you can look at those and say, well, if people like that can succeed, you can do anything.
I guess that it's a bit like, I was a nurse in my early years, and it's a bit like having a patient group, that they come to you very needy and you help them develop skills to manage themselves through university, and then you watch them take off and fly when they leave university. So it's a fairly brilliant thing.
Felly gyda myfyrwyr cyd yn Rhydeb, mae'n bwysig iawn bod chi'n deall eu sefyllfa nhw'n llwyr. Maen nhw'n astudio 2 bwnc neu 2 lwybr gwahanol. Felly chi'n mynd i ddod i fod nabod nhw o'ch ochr chi o ran eich ysgol academaidd chi. Mae'n bwysig hefyd bod chi'n dod i fod nabod nhw o safbwynt yr ysgol arall hefyd, felly bod chi'n deall pa fodiwlau maen nhw'n i astudio neu pa lwybr maen nhw'n i ddilyn. Fel tiwtor personol hefyd, mae'n bwysig bod chi'n deall sut mae'r ysgolion eraill yn gweithio, bod rhyw syniad gyda chi ydyn nhw'n cwrdd â tiwtori personol yn aml, neu sut mae rhaglenni gradd nhw'n gweithio hefyd, felly bod gyda chi y darlun cyfan, nid yn unig eich ochr eich ysgol academaidd chi yn bersonol.
We keep in touch with Skype, with FaceTime, and have discussion boards and portals within Learning Central that enable us to have access with them. There is always a deal with our distance learning students that if they have a query that they email with or put on the discussion board, they will get a reply within 3 to 5 working days, so that although they may feel very distant, they know that we will respond very quickly.
To maintain the contact with the student so that the student understands and feels that they are still a student of Cardiff University. They haven't just been sent out into the wilderness to do as they wish. So I think there are two elements to that. One is just to maintain that contact, just to say you are still our student, we still care about you, but also we are still going to monitor you as well to make sure that you are turning up to your classes in the partner institution in a foreign country. So, and that's done primarily, there's a interaction between us and the partner institution to get marks sent back, to get learning agreements sent back, etc. But with the student themselves, it's really about keeping that channel of communication over. So as soon as they get there, a welcoming email just to say, welcome to your year abroad, hope you're settling in, etc. And if you have any problems, remember, I am still your personal tutor. And we send just emails once or twice a semester just to keep that in the student's mind. And then we can offer on the back of that, should they need anything further, we do use Skype, FaceTime, etc. to discuss any problems with them.
Mae'n bwysig iawn cadw ffiniau, cadw yr elfen broffesiynol honno. Ydych chi yno i gynghori, ydych chi yno i helpu ac yn aml iawn i ddatrys problemau, ond nid chi sydd ar holl atebion. Mae'n bwysig iawn defnyddio'r gwasanaethau a'r bobl sydd ar gael yn y brifysgol sy'n arbenigo ar bethau gwahanol. Chi fydd y pwynt cyswllt cyntaf, ond mae'n iawn i chi ddweud bod angen i fyfyriwr fynd i rywle arall i gael falle ateb llawn. Felly peidio a bod ofn a gwneud y mwyaf o'r cyfle hefyd. Mae'n brofiad da gallu helpu myfyriwr yn ystod y cyfnod yma.
Really to try and ensure that students have, one, the best experience they can possibly have in Cardiff, but also that they can actually study and achieve their full potential. Sometimes there are problems that you get to understand with students, and as I say, although it's not your job to resolve them, you can help them navigate their way through finding the help that they need. And I think that's the essential thing.
It's an absolutely essential part of their role as academics, and it's an essential part of being a university citizen.